Hey guys, so I just got done watching the new Amazon Prime drama Uncle Frank. I apologize. It's right now New Year's Eve. It's about to be midnight. Happy New Year's, everybody. Happy 2021. Hopefully, it's a better fucking year. I apologize. It's taken me so long doing these reviews. I just posted my review for Borat, which was like I did at the beginning of this month, and I really been, as I said, I probably did say in my Borat review, and I've said it a couple times. I'm a very busy person right now. I've been working nonstop, like 5-6 days a week. I'm about to actually take on a new position starting Saturday at my job, and so I'm gonna probably be even busier. And it's like I don't even know when the movie theaters do open back up if I'm gonna have time to even go to the theaters. I have no idea. I like I said, like I can't even do a top 10 list for the best films of 2020 because I still have a lot of shit I haven't seen yet, and I'm sure there's some of those movies are probably gonna make my top 10, so I have to fucking watch them. I don't know when the fuck I'll be doing a top 10. Honestly, maybe in March, maybe February, maybe I'll get it done by February. I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see. But as far as the movie Uncle Frank, this was a movie I've said a couple times in my reviews. This is a movie that's kind of been requested to me a few times for personal reasons. And it's kind of funny because when I heard about this movie, I chuckled to myself because uh, to tell personal story, I have an uncle who, in fact, is named Frank. I have an Uncle Frank who I'm pretty close to, and also he also happens to be gay. I don't. I hope if he's watching this, he don't take offense that I'm telling people that he's gay. I think most people know, and I've had my own personal experiences with dealing with an uncle. I actually have two uncles, and maybe another that never came out that are gay, and I've always been accepting and had a good relationship with them. And when I heard of this movie being made or coming out on Amazon called Uncle Frank, and it also happened to be about a gay uncle who comes out to a gay guy who comes out to his family, I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. I said, this might be a movie that might, be kind of right up my alley, like something that maybe that'll bring back memories. I said, I don't know, maybe not. I said, everybody has different stories, but then I saw who was in it, and I saw it was Paul Bettany and Sophia Lillis, and also a bunch of other great actors in this movie. I'm like, all right, that don't look bad. The trailers didn't look bad. I'd heard decent things about it. From the reviews that have been popping up, it's been getting pretty well received. And it's like, honestly, out of all the, I'm going to start watching a lot of streaming services. A lot of the rest of the streaming services so far have a lot to live up to as far as like the Amazon Prime movies, because this is a pretty damn good movie. A lot of the damn movies I've watched on Amazon Prime have been very good, including Borat. Vast Night was not bad. Beast of Our Fathers was terrible, obviously. My Spy I didn't even find that bad. Even though it was generic, it was not that bad. But this is a pretty damn good movie. This is a movie you can tell that they're going to probably try to push towards Oscar when Oscar season comes along. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets some nominations, especially since there's not anything being released theatrically, so they have to kind of bend the rules a little bit. But yeah, this movie is a pretty damn good movie. I can't say, like, I'm sure I'd had to talk about my uncle hasn't seen this movie yet, but it's like, I'm sure there's parts of this movie that he probably could say he could relate to and probably have experienced some moments in this movie. Not exactly, his story is not exactly the same as the Uncle Frank in this movie. He doesn't have like the same traumatic experiences that this character does. But I mean, there's some relatable things I'm sure you could relate to, especially when dealing with family and coming out and everything else like that. Uh, the best part of this fucking movie is Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany, this is honestly one of his best performances. I've always liked Paul Bettany as an actor. He is really fucking good in this movie. He shows off his acting chops a lot in this fucking movie. He's really good as this poor man that's, he's kind of trying to hide from his family. The movie takes place in the 70s. He's trying to hide from his family that he's gay. Even goes as far as to hire or have a friend of his who's a lesbian be his pretend girlfriend whenever some family come over, even though they've never met her before. And he explains that they've been dating for like 5 years. He pretends that's his girlfriend, and they just go along with it. And he also has a lot of traumatic experiences from his past, including with his relationship with his dad, and because he is established very early on, has a very bad relationship with his dad. And over the movie, you find out what happened. I'm sure you can figure out mostly what happened, even just reading the plot and knowing that those two don't get along, and also that he's gay, his son is gay. You can probably figure out what happened to kind of cause a rift between the two. Even though it does lead up to some fucked up shit. Sophia Lillis, who plays the niece of Paul Bettany, is really fucking good. She's a really good young actress. She's proven herself over the last few years that she can pull off some pretty damn good performances, and she is a really good actress. And her relationship with Paul Bettany is really sweet. Like, she is one of the only people, he's basically like the black sheep of the family. Even though all of them don't know he's gay, they treat him like that he is as the black sheep of the family. But she's like the only one who really tries to have a relationship with him and try to bond with him, and they bond over their love of literature and all that stuff like that. And they have a really sweet relationship, and she goes to New York University, the same school that he teaches at. And she's encouraged, or she's inspired by him to go try to move to New York City and live her own life, and yada yada yada. It's really cool. His what the stuff he tries to tell her is really good stuff. Advice that he tries to give her is pretty damn good advice to give a girl like her. I also really liked the boyfriend in this movie, the guy who played the boyfriend. I don't know what his name is, but he is he even has his own story arc, as he is a Arabic man who is from Saudi Arabia, and he doesn't really have a great relationship with his family because obviously he's from Saudi Arabia. As he explains, they do not accept gays in that country, obviously, and if he were to go back to his home country, he'd be beheaded for being gay, and it's very frowned upon, even worse than it is in America. It's more accepted nowadays than it was back in the 70s, but to a degree. Let's just say to a degree, not exactly 100%, but for the most part, it is very more accepted, but not in Saudi Arabia. It's definitely not accepted as much as it is in America. But yeah, he is really a charming guy, and it's he's almost kind of relatable, because I've had my uncles have brought boyfriends in there and out there before, and he kind of reminds me of some of them, the ones I've met before. And then one in particular, I'm not going to name his name, but who was really friendly, and honestly, we've always considered like family. Even after my uncle and him broke up, he's always been considered part of the family. We even invited him to my sister's wedding, even though him and my uncle, like I said, broke up. Uh, we still consider him family, and he's like kind of this guy is that kind of character where I kind of have met these kind of a person like this before, where he's very personable, really likable, and like I said, Sophia Lois, I can relate to her character too, and I'm sure my sister could too, in that really like she finds out pretty early on in the movie when she's in college that her uncle Frank is gay, and she's just accepting of it. She don't care, and I can relate to that because I found out at an early age that me and my sister found out at very early ages that my uncle was gay. My uncles were gay, and we never treated them any differently. Never did. I have never, still to this day, I don't treat them like, treat them like they're my uncles. They're my family. They always have been my family. And my uncles, luckily, have been pretty much my family on their side has been very accepting of it. Never have like down or tried to hurt their feelings. I don't know what the best way to put it, but yeah. They're not as dysfunctional. My family's not as dysfunctional as this family is, and kind of hateful, especially the dad. I'll get into that in a minute. But I can relate to to Paul Bettany, and I can relate to Sophia Lois's character, and like how her relationship is with her Uncle Frank, and that I kind of have the same relationship where I don't care what they are. They're still my family. I love them to death. And you kind of not sure like what the rest of the family is how the rest of the family is gonna react because eventually they're gonna find out. And you're like, okay, how are they gonna react? You have people like Steve Zahn, who is. It's great to see Steve Zahn in something again. His little brother, and his wife is Judy Greer, who's always fucking great no matter what she's in. She's always fucking great, and I love Judy Greer. And she's like this kind of hypochondriac kind of person. There's Sophia Lois's mom. Her and Steve Zahn are Sophia Lois's parents. You got the mom who's like probably the most likable, one of the most likable people, most likable out of the two parents, definitely, who is very supportive of Paul Bettany, or Uncle Frank, or the Frank's character, throughout the whole movie. And even though he really is very distant with her and the rest of the family, like I said, he lives in New York, but the rest of the family lives in the South, where obviously it's the South, and they're not very accepting of his lifestyle. But because of that, he kind of lives, in New York City, where it's obviously a little bit more acceptable, even if it is the 70s. The dad, who played the dad? I know the actor. I forget the hell his name is. It looks like the mom. The mom is like a character actor that's been around for fucking ever. She's a really good actress. Every time I see her, who? Hold on a second. Let me look it up. I was just looking at something. Who is the dad? Oh yeah, Stephen Root. Yeah, always a pretty damn good actor. Always has been. Who plays a dad who's a really fucking horrible person, especially at the end of the movie. Holy shit! Like that wake, that scene, or that will reading at the end of the movie is one of the most jaw-dropping, awkward scenes I've seen in a movie in a fucking long time. Holy shit. Like, you think by the end of the movie, it's gonna be one of those movies where, he kind of comes to have closure with his dad in some way, and he gets to have an understanding with his how his dad felt and all that stuff like that, and maybe he gets closure. No, there is no fucking closure with him and his dad. It gets fucking worse by the end of this movie. Now, with the rest of the family, it's a lot. It does get better. Spoiler alert. But his dad, his feelings towards the dad is probably fucking worse than it was his feelings towards the beginning of the movie. Oh my god, man. Like, I don't even want to spoil it, but that fucking will reading was brutal. And, like, I'm just sitting there, like, the lawyer's reading this shit, and I'm like, there's a certain point where you're reading ahead, I'm sure. You go, maybe I should leave this out. I don't think it really is relevant. You could just ended the sentence at one certain point, and that would have been just it. But no, he kept reading it. You can tell he's, like, hesitant to read it. I'm like, I wouldn't read it. Just, like, read the one part and just leave the rest out. Like, that's all you had to fucking do. I don't know if they have to do that because it's what's written up, but damn, dude, like, that was some harsh shit that he read. Holy God. Man, I'm not surprised how that well reading ended, but also at the same time you think, like, going into this movie it's gonna be one of those stereotypical movies where everything is resolved with his relationship with the dad and all stuff like that, but no, it's worse. But like I said, his relationship with the family gets better, but by the end of the movie. But yeah, it's a really good movie. It's a really, really touching drama that I like. That, like, anybody who deals with, who's had any family members that are gay or have or friends that are even gay, and I'm sure even people that are gay that have come out to their family probably can relate to some of this movie. Not all of it, obviously, but some of it. I'm sure my uncle probably could relate to some of this. Like I said, not all of it, because for the most part, my family has been pretty accepting, and not like this fucking family. This family's a little bit fucking worse. The reaction is a little bit worse. But yeah, I recommend the movie. I liked Uncle Frank a lot. Definitely a movie I'd recommend watching on Amazon Prime. As far as what my next reviews are going to be, I have planned The High Note, I think, is the next one I'm going to watch. Also, we'll be watching Wonder Woman 1984 sometime. Stuff like Scoob, The King of Staten Island, and Capone is also something I'm going to be watching here in the near future. But that's what's probably going to be coming up. But until then, I'll talk to you guys later.